It's right there. I just got out of
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the regular scheduled meeting of the Griffin City Board of Commissioners, March 14, 2023. We have Commissioner Flowers, I believe, on Zoom, and then we also have Commissioner Ward, who's on her way to a conference on the funds. We're glad to have both of y'all as well. We're going to open with the pledge led by Commissioner Murray, followed by the invocation with Commissioner Tinsley.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Most gracious Heavenly Father, we're here today to ask for your blessing and guidance in the performance of our duties as elected officials. We pray for strength, love, knowledge, and understanding. Help us to recognize and solve the problems that are presented, make our solutions fair and just in the best interest of everyone. Help us to overcome our shortcomings and keep us united as a team to work for the betterment in this city. We pray in your name. Amen.
Thank you. First item is to approve the agenda. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda as presented? Mr. Brock with motion, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand. We have a 5-0. Moving into presentation of delegations. First item is to recognize Felicia Trammell, Executive Assistant, as the February 2023 Strongest Link in the Chain Award recipient. Chief John Hamilton will be here to address.
Well, Chief John Hamilton is tending to a 4-car pileup out there. So I'm going to address. I actually did not have the fortunate pleasure of nominating Ms. Trammell for this award. Chief Hamilton did do that, and I was very thankful that he did because, as you know, she works in the Management Services Department, so I get to work with her all day, every day. But the reason for his nomination was specifically related to FEMA and the work that she has done in regards to our storm damage. Her expertise that she gained and knowledge that she had from Chief Polk has certainly been quite the benefit for us at the city. Chief Hamilton has all of that knowledge, but I did not. And so Felicia has come right in and said, look, I think we need to look at it this way, or look at it this way, or look at it this way. And that's just not specific to the storm. She has done that for almost anything, everything that I have asked of her. Her title is Executive Assistant, but it's really, it's very broad because her job description should be 55 pages because anything that we ask her to do, she just does, whether it's listed in that job description or not. As far as the 800 megahertz audit, when we were going through SDS, she was here, I think at 5:30 in the morning, to meet with PD. Oh, there he is. I'll let him come finish it, but just anything that we ask her to do.
Open records request.
Open records request, we had 900 last year. 900 last year. So that's more than almost 3 a day on, a calendar year, much less business days. So she has gone above and beyond. Here, you fill in too.
Chief Hamilton.
I apologize for having to step out for a second.
I told him.
Sorry. And without my notes, I wasn't going to use them anyways, but the fact that she came in 2020 when she did, I knew her at the county, knew her capabilities there. So when it came in, it was probably day 2, 3. And we started talking about famous stuff and just because we had done it together. And her first thing is always, what can I do to help? So then it was something else came up. What can I do to help? There's a storm coming up probably a few months ago. What can I do to help? Are you ready for this weekend? Do you need me? Do you need? And then that's what she's always been. The radio, she was out there with me. It was hot some days it was cold. She was always been there during the safety assessment. We talked about it at the retreat a few weeks ago, goals. She's been in that every bit of the time. Like I said, the open records request, anything and everything, it's always, and Chief Yates and I even talked about it not long ago, she's always right there, and it's not, I'm busy, I don't have time for that, is what do you need to help? So hands down, she far deserves it. And, being a link in the chain for this, she is truly a link in the chain because it's not just the city manager's office. She's willing to go here or there, do whatever. And if you say, hey, I'm not sure, she says, well, let me help you and we'll figure it out. So hands down, she's well worth this nomination for this month.
Lisa, would you like to introduce your husband and get done with your photo op?
He had it last week, or
Yeah.
last month.
That's right.
That screen, will y'all
Oh,
go that way? Yeah.
I was telling this one guy.
Oh, don't go so close.
Wonderful. Thank you, Chief Hamilton, for recognizing her. All right, moving into reviewing financial reports for January 2023, City Manager Jesse O'Connor will address.
I think the biggest thing that I can say is that we are just less than $4,000 shy of $5 million in real property taxes for the first time in a long time. You know, that comes sometimes not happily to the citizens, but that is a big boom to our economy and just what has gone on with our housing market. So that's exciting news. The other thing that sort of sticks out right off the top of the bat is insurance premium taxes is almost at $2 million. So we're doing well with budget there. And then also our alcoholic beverage licenses are over 100%. So that's good too. Of course, as you know, we are moving into budget for FY24. So these financials are important, but we are looking ahead and trying to get all of that planned and prepared. A budget meeting started today with Ms. Thompson, and Ms. Trammell stepped in to help Ms. Thompson since she's by herself this year. And so that has become, I think, a good process, and the directors that met today said it was a pretty simplified process, and they were excited to see us learn more in our OpenGov software and have a better streamlined product for all of you come May. And that is it for me, unless you have any questions.
Any questions, Lord? Great job, looks great. This time we'll move into citizens' comment. This time the mayor opens the floor to comments from the audience. Comments should relate to a specific agenda item not listed on the agenda for a public hearing or to concern the jurisdiction of the city. Commission meetings serve the purpose of conducting city business and are not a forum for the unlimited expression of opinion. The mayor reserves the right to limit comments to matters germane to city business and may refer speakers to the city manager or other staff resolution. With that being said, is there anybody on my left side like to come before the board? On my left side. Is there anybody on my right side? All right. Moving out of the citizens' comment into the consent agenda, we have items 3 through 6. Do we have a motion to accept the consent agenda as a whole? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Brock. And Ms. Flowers and Ms. Ward, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. So all in favor of the consent agenda, if you'll please signal by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
That's a 7-0 on the consent agenda. Moving into the regular agenda, consider minutes of the City of Griffin Board of Commissioners Goals Workshop and regular meeting on February 28, 2023. Commissioner Brock was absent from both meetings. We have a motion to approve the consent agenda for February 28th. Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
We have a 6-0-1 abstention, Mr. Brock. Moving into appointment, item 8 is appoint one member of the Griffin Spalding Airport Authority, post 8 for a 5-year unexpired term to succeed Blake Locke, who resigned his seat on February 2023. We have 3 nominations in the book. We have a Cinquez Jester, a Yasmin Howard, a Denatras Silas, a Deanna Holt, and a Thomas Tim Brown.
I nominate Denatras Silas.
Nominate Thomas Tim Brown.
So we have a nominate Ms. Murray for Thomas Brown, and we have a nomination for Mr. McCord for the Denatras Silas. Are there any other nominations?
Move nominations be closed.
We have a motion by Mr. Tinsley to close nominations, second by Mrs. Murray. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand or say aye.
Aye.
7-0 to close nominations. So we'll take in the order of nominations. All those in favor of Denatrix Silas, please signal by saying aye or raising your hand.
Aye.
We have 3 votes for Mr. Denatrix, and all those in favor of Thomas Tim Brown, please signal by raising your hand or saying aye. 4 votes, Brock, Murray, Holberg, and Tinsley for Thomas Tim Brown. And the other 3 votes for Denatrix Silas. Moving into item 9, Commissioners to appoint 1 member of the Griffin Spalding County Land Bank Authority to fulfill a 2-year unexpired term set to expire 12/31/24 to succeed Sharon King, who resigned from the Griffin Spalding County Land Bank Authority effective February 14th. We have 2 names in the nomination, a Ms. Deanna L. Polk and a Mr. Charles Gilbert.
Nominate Charles Gilbert.
Mr. Tinsley with the nomination of Charles Gilbert. Do we have any other nominations? We have a motion to close nominations. A motion from Mr. Tinsley to close nominations, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor of closing nominations, please signal by raising your hand or signaling with aye.
Aye.
It's 7-0, and for Mr. Charles Gilbert. Item 10 is consider appointment of 1 member of the Griffin Main Street Advisory Board to fulfill the 2-year unexpired term of Shauna McCormick, business property owner. Ms. McCormick turned her resignation on February 22, 2023. And the only name in the book at this time is Mr. Brian Miller. Do we have any motion for nominations?
No nomination.
So,
We actually need that.
okay. So we have Mr. Brian Miller. All in favor, by acclamation, in favor of Mr. Brian Miller for the Main Street Advisory Board, please signal by raising your hand or say aye.
Aye.
Ms. Ward? Just 7-0 for Mr. Brian Miller for Main Street Advisory Board. Item 11 is consider the purchase of electronic ticketing software module and 60 in-car printers in the amount of $74,321.08 from Central Square, single source for the Griffin Police Department. Mrs. Murray with a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Brock. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or signaling by saying aye.
Aye.
7-0 for approval. Item 12 is consider a task order form to the master service agreement between the City of Griffin and Paragon Consulting Group in the amount of $27,600 for the topographic survey, geotechnical subsurface exploration, wetlands and stream consulting services, and conceptual design of the bridges as the entrance and exit of the Griffin Golf Course. Ms. Murray with a motion to approve, second by Mr. Brock. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or signaling with aye.
Aye.
7-0 for approval of the task order. Item 13 is considered amendment to existing contract between the City of Griffin and Luminate Transportation Technology. Do we have a motion to approve the amendment? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
7-0 for approval. Item 14 is
Miss Mamie there? Miss Cynthia? Okay.
Hi, Cynthia. On item 13, were you a yes on the amendment on the existing contract piece? Okay, 7-0 on that item 13. Item 14 is consider rescission of the September 13, 2022 approval of the purchase of a 2023 Ford F-150 XL in the amount of $33,512.76 from Speedway Ford, and consider the purchase of a 2023 Toyota Tacoma from Jim Ellis Toyota McDonough, lowest bidder in the amount of $32,858. We have a motion to approve the rescission and the acquisition. Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Tinsley with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
7-0. Item 15 is consider adoption of the third supplement emergency resolution related to the January 12, 2023 disaster event and supplementing the emergency disaster declaration of a state of emergency and all subsequent resolutions related to the after-mentioned storm event.
Just a couple of things I wanted to note real
Go
quickly
ahead.
before you do
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
The continuation of emergency measures as set forth in the first and second supplemental resolution will continue as far as emergency procurement measures, waiver of the administrative fee for residential building permits, additional emergency powers, emergency temporary dwellings, the stay on disconnection of utility services for non-payment, and the amendment to the broken pipe adjustment policy. What we are removing from those first two resolutions is the emergency registration of our contractors. At this point, those that came in from out of town have pretty much finished the work that they need to do. And so if they aren't currently here through the appropriate occupational tax certificate or otherwise, they need to get registered that way because they're pretty much here permanently anyway. So we are removing that emergency registration so that they don't have to do that anymore, especially if they already are registered. But if they are currently working and they can continue that work until, as long as they have a permit to do so, until they're done. They don't have to come back and do anything else, but we won't extend the permit under that emergency registration and we won't allow any new permits under that emergency registration. And that is it, unless you have any questions.
Any questions? Do we have a motion to amend the supplementary emergency resolution? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Tinsley. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or signal with aye.
Aye.
7-0. Item 16 is consider amendments to the contract for emergency debris monitoring with Goodwin Mills Haywood LLC, GMC, amending the contract for emergency debris removal dated January 14, 2023 for purposes of increasing the not to exceed amount of the contract to $650,000. Do we have a question? Go ahead.
Is this for just monitoring?
This is the monitoring.
Yes, this is just for the monitoring. It was previously set at a not to exceed amount of $500,000. That contract, the emergency contract, goes through until March 30th. We were getting close, and so to make sure that we wouldn't have any issues and have to have a gap period, we raised it again.
Okay.
We're seeking to raise it.
Thank you, Ms. Carton. Do we have a motion to approve the amendment? Mr. Tinsley with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
7-0 on the amendment. Item 17 is consider amendment to the amendment and restated interlocal cooperation agreement to establish and maintain the Griffin Spalding County Land Bank Authority and consider the lease agreement for personnel services between the City of Griffin and Spalding County Land Bank Authority. And City Manager Jessica Connor has some information she's dropping off, so
Yeah.
go ahead.
So this was on your agenda already, but I actually just was able to talk to Mr. Galloway. He and I have played phone tag, and he had one request that I wanted to make sure you had in front of you because it is a change. On page 2, under services provided to lessee, we added a provision that I highlighted for you so it'll be easy to see. His concern was that they, the authority, really did not have any teeth on any kind of potential disciplinary action or termination as regards the employee if I'm the only one that can hire and fire the employee. Unfortunately, our charter is what says that. So to be an employee of the City of Griffin, I cannot change and give them the authority. But instead, what we said is that I will make sure that I consult with them. So if there is some kind of issue that comes up, the employee, hopefully this is a moot point, but the employee would know that the authority can come to me and say, we have a problem, we need you to address it. So we just wanted to clarify that in this lease agreement. And then the amended and restated local cooperation agreement. The only thing that we did, it's a lengthy document, but I really am only amending the one provision in regards to the employee. So that is Article 10 on page 13. And it just says that they will be contracting with the City of Griffin to make that person a full-time employee of the city, subject to all of our personal services and benefits.
Are there any questions at this time about this changes on the Land Bank Authority? Do we have a motion to approve? We have Ms. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Second by Mr. Brock. All in favor of the amendment, please signal by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
7-0.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Item 18, consider an anti-litem notice dated January 26, 2023 from Bianca Harris, mother and natural guardian of Lauren Harris, AJ, claiming damage or personal injury allegedly sustained by the minor on July 30, 2022, when a concrete slab on top of a planter in the southwest corner of Hill and Solomon Street dropped onto her right foot, resulting in lacerations and fracture of her big toe. Notice contains an offer and settlement amount of $25,000. City Attorney Drew Whalen will address. So is this, Mr. Whalen, is this a recommendation of denial, or do we need a recommendation of?
No, it's a recommendation of denial. We turned the claim into Germer when it first came in. They have been in contact with the mother, negotiating, and have not been able to settle the case. So we want to go ahead and deny the anti-litem notice so that they can go ahead and file a lawsuit. That's what it needs to do.
Okay. Thank you,
I
Mr.
might
Whalen.
add, this child being a minor, the statute of limitations really doesn't start to run in her case until she reaches age 18. Was only age 7, I think, when this happened last summer.
Thank you. Do we have a motion from the board on this? We have a motion from Ms. Murray to deny the claim. Do we have a second?
Second.
Mr. Tinsley with a second. Any other discussion? All in favor of denial, please signal by raising your hand or signaling aye.
Aye.
Those against, like sign. Mr. McCord against, 6-0 or 6-1 with Mr. McCord against. Item 19, consider authorizing travel for Mayor Doug Holberg to attend the 2023 GMA Legislative Policy Council meeting in Tifton, Georgia on April 26 and 27, 2023. A motion, Mr. Tinsley for approval, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or answering with aye.
Aye.
7-0. And this one, most importantly, is happening as we speak. Consider authorizing travel for Commissioner Cynthia Ward to attend the 2023 HIT Conference in Cartersville, Georgia on March 13th through 16th, 2023. Do we have a motion to approve? Mrs. Murray with a motion. Do we have a second? Mr. Brock with a second. All in favor, please signal by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
7-0. And thank you for going down there, Mrs. Ward, and taking care of business for us. Or up there, excuse me, up there.
I hope I have something new for you when I get there.
Wonderful. All right, moving into city manager's report.
Well, first, just another congratulations to Felicia. I didn't think I would get to say anything, so I'm glad that she was recognized for all that she does for me, but also for every single one of us that work in this city. A couple of dates to get on your calendars. The comprehensive plan, I hope you know, has been extended, the deadline for which we have to have that submitted to DCA. Mr. Jacobs very quickly thought about getting that request into DCA, and they have already approved that for a February due date instead of October. So that is good news. It has shifted our timeline a little bit. He and I are going to be discussing some surveys that we want to get out very quickly, and so you'll see those go out, I hope, by the end of the week. And so we'll get a better calendar and time frame from our consultants. We're actually using GMC for that as well. So that'll be forthcoming. You will be registered for GMA on March 30th. So I think Ms. Bartholomew provided you with the different class schedules and all of that at your seats. So we do ask that you try and look at those. Make sure you give us a couple options if you want to attend, because as you know, they fill up fast. So March 30th, we are sort of closed that morning to try and get that done. We have signs on our doors to get y'all registered and there. Also, we will have our NIMS training. So that is something different from GMA training. This is actually offered through Georgia Emergency Management Association. That will take place on March 28th at Historic City Hall. We will do our workshop first at 9 and then go right into that training at 10. I understand that the registration for GMA is a little cumbersome. So if you need assistance with that, please come up here. And I helped Commissioner Tinsley yesterday and Mayor Holberg yesterday. So there are a couple questions that you may not know the answer to or how exactly to respond, and we can certainly help walk you through that if needed. Also, the Public Safety Academy is a new academy. We're combining PD and fire to try and get that sort of a little bit more compressed into one before the summer starts, hoping we can have some better attendance. Those applications are due March 20th, which is next Monday, and the academy actually starts March 30th and will run until May 18th, so I know that will be a lot of fun. And then last but not least, we will be offering a new academy this year, so I wanted to put this on the record as well. It will be our junior CGA. We're very excited about that, and so tentatively it is scheduled for the third week in June, which would actually begin on Tuesday the 20th because Juneteenth is that Monday. So we would run that Tuesday through Friday and sort of a mini version for middle school ages. Ms. Hancock is working as we speak on all of that to get that information out and working with directors because teaching middle schoolers versus teaching adults are very different things. So we look forward to having our first annual junior CGA this summer. And that is it for me.
How many participants on that are you capping that off?
We have not made that decision. We're sort of relying on Chief Hamilton and Chief Yates' experience with CSI camp and junior fire camp to sort of help us figure all of that out. So we don't know quite yet. We're hoping we can have plenty of space.
Wonderful. Mr. Whalen?
I have nothing.
Mr. Brock?
Ditto.
Mrs. Murray?
It's good to see everybody tonight. Congratulations for Felicia's achievement, and thanks for all the hard work you guys are doing, and keep going. That's all I have to say.
Ms. Flowers?
No comment.
Mrs. Ward?
No comment.
Mr. McCord?
First off, a little bit of sad news. We lost we lost a young person that was killed in a drive-by out in Spalding Heights. I think it was a drive-by with some people shooting, and they killed I think it was an 11-year-old child in our community. I ask that we pray for her family. Also, Mr. William Anthony Manton, who was a principal, educated here for several years in the Griffin Spalding County school system, passed away Sunday night around 11:25. He was a member of the Caballero Social Club that I'm a member of. And good news, our Griffin High School Lady Bears won the Quad A state title.
Amen.
147 over Baldwin. I called to Marissa's office trying to get signs, make sure that we have the signs made to go to the entrances of the city. I guess the sign ordinance allows for us to do that. I'm not sure that's the way they've done it in the past. I don't want to really get into it, but hopefully we can get some signs put up for the ladies. And I think that's all I have. Congratulations to Felicia for her stellar work for the city.
Thank you, Mr. McCord. Mr. Tinsley?
It's always good to see your smiling faces. Not through. I'd also like to congratulate Felicia for the strongest lane chain award. And also, like Rodney said, our Lady Bears are at home. It's good to know. And their GPA, I think, overall GPA for those girls is 3.8. Awesome. So that's great.
And did they ever talk to you about the parade?
They haven't reached out to me.
They have?
No, not yet.
Okay, all right. They will too.
Okay, excellent. So coming up on March 26th is Downtown Council's first annual Food and Music Festival. It'll be in the inaugural Food and Music Festival, which will be in the city parking lot across from the post office where the mural's at. So it's going to be 12 to 5 p.m. So a lot of great food trucks and music. Good time fellowship. Also, they want to give a shout out to all those that participated in the Men Who Read program today throughout our school system. I know we had a pile of firefighters out of Atkinson with me this morning, but I also saw pictures on Facebook with others of our city staff. And so thank you all for Chief Hamilton and having your crew and stuff out there this morning. With that being said, do we have a motion to adjourn the meeting? We have a motion by Mr. Tinsley, second by Ms. Murray. All in favor, please head up and be safe. Thank you all.